It's not just radio, it's Rockland World Radio. RocklandWorldRadio.com.
Hi, I'm Tony Ziegler, and I'm bringing you Creatively Speaking. And my guest today is Janet Ocasio. And what do you know? The first person I said her name right, or his name right. Welcome, Janet.
Hi,
When
Tony.
when we start the show, I always get signatures.
Oh, okay.
So you have to sign your name here.
Okay.
Let me put the water here. Okay. Now we can move this out of the way. And we take 2 Polaroids.
Oh boy. Okay.
One for me and one for you.
Oh, okay.
So, cheesecake.
Cheesecake.
And then, is it ready? Oh, we'll try it. Here we go.
I'm gonna close my eyes.
Oh, out of film. We only took one.
Okay.
We'll take another one.
That's fine.
Okay, so what is your favorite music and band when you want to relax?
My favorite music and band. I like rock, of course.
No, band.
Band.
Yeah. I think you told me once when I get uptight to listen to something.
The Beatles.
Okay. But I think specifically you said Simon and Garfunkel.
Oh, Simon and Garfunkel. Yes, of course.
And
Yeah.
Where did we first meet?
I was your boss.
Uh-oh.
I
Can
hired you.
Can I call you the
I
boss
hired
still?
you. No, you can't call me the boss anymore. I hired you at Beth Abraham Hospital in the
Right.
Bronx.
That's right, in the Bronx. And I think Oliver Sacks worked there.
Oliver
also.
Sacks was one of the people that we worked with.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think you had a transplant also.
I did. I had a liver transplant a long, long time ago. Actually, in 1998.
Oh, that's before I was born.
And it's in the dark ages of transplantation.
That's
yeah.
true. Now, you have an organization that you used to run, and now you're kind of on the sidelines. What is that called?
It's a transplant support organization, and it's an organization made up of people who are recipients or people who are on the waiting list for a transplant or family members, professionals in the transplant community. And it's a support and education organization.
In fact, I think that's how we re-met or got reacquainted.
That's right. You picked up a newsletter.
Right.
And there was my face.
I know. I was at Columbia Presbyterian where I got my kidney transplant, and I saw it in your picture, and I called you, and I said, "Is this the Janet Ocasio?" and you said yes, and I said, "Well, this is the Tony Ziegler," and I think you screamed bloody murder.
And I think I hung up the phone and ran away.
No, you didn't.
No,
but
I
that's
didn't.
a good one. I like that. So that's how we found each other.
That's how after many years, after
20 years maybe.
almost 20
Almost,
years.
yeah.
Yeah.
After my doomed marriage.
Yes.
We won't
Yes.
have to talk about that.
Okay, that's good.
Unless you want to.
No.
Because then we'll have to talk about your doomed marriage. And that's part of the illnesses. Like when you get a severe life-changing illness, a lot of times spouses can't handle it.
That's right.
That's pretty much across the board.
Pretty much. There were exceptions, you
Of
know.
course
There were people who are in it for the long haul, but
I think we have somebody in the audience that is an exception.
we have a couple of people in the audience who are exceptions. Yeah.
We should give them a hand.
Yes, we should.
Or should I lend them a hand?
Well, let's leave them in the audience.
Okay. We'll leave them anonymous. Okay. Now, I heard that you were writing things.
Writing was always something that I did as a way of kind of expressing myself and letting go of stress. And when I was in college, creative writing was a minor. But then life got in the way, and I kind of put it to the side. And I've always written. I've always written poetry and short stories, and I picked it up again. So.
That's something I never knew about you.
Really?
I thought I knew everything about you.
Oh, look at that.
You're keeping secrets again, Janet. In
probably
fact,
me.
I have something that you wrote about me.
Oh, you see? I always wrote. I told you.
Okay. It's in my book. It says here, oh, wrong one. Here it is. Dear Anthony Ziegler, Mr. Ziegler has proven himself to be a hardworking, resourceful, and very creative therapeutic recreation leader in the Martin Cherkosky Adult Daycare Center Therapeutic Recreation Department. Woo! He has demonstrated excellent group leadership skills in areas of assessment and program planning. Mr. Ziegler has also shown receptionist and clinical supervision, utilizing it as an opportunity for continued growth. And it goes on and on and on.
On and on. All these glorious things I had to say.
He has also designed elaborate art projects, Thanksgiving turkeys involving the adult daycare. He's made beautiful posters, art exhibits, decorated spaces, blah, blah, blah. An acknowledgement of Mr. Ziegler's proven abilities and skills in initiative and background in the fine arts, as well as his dedication.
You were dedicated.
To serving the adult daycare registrants, to quote Irene, she used to say registrants and restaurant, remember?
Yes.
And I recommend that he be promoted to the position of fine arts therapist. Thank you for that promotion.
Oh, well, you're welcome. Can't believe you kept that.
Unfortunately, I do not have your signature on it, but I have Gail's signature on it.
All right. Well, someone signed it.
Somebody signed it, yes. So let's read. Let's hear some of your writing.
Oh, okay.
Your not so mundane writing.
Oh, I don't know. Okay, I have a poem. It's called Waiting, and it's waiting refers to the amount of time that I spent on the waiting list waiting for a liver transplant. And I actually waited for 13 years before I was able to get a transplant.
Wow, it's a long time.
So in my poem, I try to capture what it felt like to be waiting for something like that for all of those years.
Well, let's hear it so we can feel what it feels like.
Okay. The darkness, it envelops me as the waiting takes its toll. No longer feeling hopeful, I am poised to take a fall. Where is this promised gift? The one that offers life. Why do I wait here endlessly in all this pain and strife? I cannot hope forever as the sickness moves ahead. Hope is a weary soldier who marches in my stead. But I will stand and forge towards hope. I have no other choice. I will not quit. I will not bend. I know I have a voice. I'll yell and scream until they see that I am here. I will not go. So I will wait impatiently until this gift is mine, you know?
I know.
For I know that the gift is near. This fight will not defeat me. With courage, I will stand my ground, knowing that miracles will seek me. And when the gift is offered and the waiting disappears, when life has been restored and tears replaced by cheers, I'll spread my joy forever and my happiness will resound. I'll have a debt of happiness, a quiet song I found.
I have to put my sunglasses on. I'm sensitive. Wow. You should send that to my son.
I will if you want me to. Sure.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Sure, I'd love to.
Do you have any more?
I have a lot of poems.
Well, read another one.
Read another one?
Did you put one in the newsletter?
There is
tell
one-
us about the newsletter, too.
The newsletter. TSO has a newsletter that goes to over 800 people. It goes to all the transplant centers, to all of the professionals and doctors involved in transplant. And our goal is to show them what we do that were available to kind of talk about transplantation and the success of the many people that are involved. So the newsletter comes out four times a year.
Show the newsletter on there.
Comes out 4 times a year. And it has stories. We always make sure that there's a member of the transplant organization who's highlighted. So we give the history with a picture and just information about organ transplant and life after transplant in particular. So I did write a poem for this. Let me see if I can find it. Here it is. An Ode to a Donor. And this poem is my kind of talking about how I feel about my organ donor. It may be that I will never meet you. I'll never hear your song, but your soul has found a home and helped to make me whole. How sad the day you left us, yet with purpose you took flight. You left behind your treasure, a legacy, a life. The gift you made is priceless, for who could ever know the value of a kiss or feelings as they grow. You'll never hold a newfound friend or hear the childhood laughter, but you will live eternally, embraced by the great master. So I have lived another day or 2 or 3 or 4, while you take flight in heaven and your spirit learns to soar. How can I ever thank you when I cannot say hello? As your love lives within me, it gives me time to grow. And as I spread your teachings, you are my silent guide. You lead my humble knowings forever by my side. So thank you, dear angelic friend. I'll talk to you tomorrow. As you stay quietly by my side, I'll not get home to sorrow.
Oh my God. What do you think of that, studio audience? Did a silent type.
So I write poetry, a lot of poetry about my experience with transplant and kind of things that really touched me about this experience.
It's
and
life-changing,
this
isn't
journey. It's a journey. Yes,
Yeah,
it is. It changes your life. You become a different person because of
Absolutely.
it. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think only people that have had transplants understand that. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm sorry I made you cry.
You've made me cry before.
I'm going to have to write a happy one.
No, that's a happy one. There's tears of joy, not tears of sadness.
Right.
Like I say, you know, I'm above the grass kicking ass. I'm a pain in the ass, as you know.
Yes.
And God ain't ready for my ass. And some of my friends said the devil's afraid of my ass. And I just have so many good memories about TSO, and so nice to be back home and be part of it again.
Yeah.
And I was hanging out with Gerard, and
Yeah.
it's
TSO is a great organization.
It
It's
sure
been
is.
around since 1997.
oh,
And
wow.
and I joined it. I had my transplant in 1998, so I joined in right after my transplant. But I didn't become active until 2000. So I've been with TSO since the year 2000.
Yeah, and I had my transplant in 2009, so you were already like
I was already active.
running the place
Yeah.
as usual.
Yeah, I got involved because I thought I needed a place where I could meet other people who had had this experience. And as a social worker all my life, you know, I
Your whole life?
my
You were born
adult,
a social worker?
I think I was actually.
I think so too.
You know, I think my family thinks that too. But
I won't talk about how we made fun of you when you were the boss.
yeah. But I knew the value of peer support, and I knew the value of reaching out to people and you know, offering a helping hand during difficult experiences.
You were the best.
Oh, thank you.
I'll never forget that day when I called you up.
When you first...
When I called you back
When
up.
you found me.
Yeah.
Okay.
And of course I was married to Celeste, and she said I knew already, but she never shared it.
Mm.
But we won't go into that.
Yeah. I had to leave my job because of my illness.
I remember.
I was still on a waiting list. I did not leave the job because I was getting a transplant. I left the job because I was just too sick
I
to
remember.
continue working.
We won't talk about the person who replaced you.
No. No, we won't.
That's another story. That's another book. So, wow. Tell us who founded TSO.
TSO was founded by a couple of women, Helen Bellhouse, who's a liver transplant recipient, and Karen Farkas.
I'm not sure if I know Karen.
She was a nurse coordinator at Westchester Medical Center's kidney transplant unit. Helen had met Karen in Rockland, where she had come to a support group meeting, because Rockland at that time had a small support group here.
Which is now growing.
Which is now back again, yeah, and it's expanding. And Helen felt like there should be something in Westchester County and in Putnam County for, transplant recipients. And so working with Karen, Helen was able to obtain support from Dr. Butt, who was one of the founding fathers of kidney transplantation.
I think I met him once.
He passed away a couple of years ago, and he was the one that kind of gave that push, to TSO and got the group going. So we're very grateful to him and his family.
And we used to meet there, right?
We used to meet at Westchester Medical Center.
I don't know why that fell apart.
It was just because we wanted to bring speakers from different hospitals, competing hospitals, and we wanted to have more independence. And so we thought that we were a community group, maybe better if we were located in the community.
And then you moved to the other facility. I forget the name of it.
We moved to a couple of places.
I know.
We were in a synagogue for a while in Briarcliff Manor.
I don't think I ever went there.
And then we moved to the town hall in Greenberg.
That's the one I remember.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking for the other night.
And from the town hall, we kind of transferred over to the health center. The Greenberg Health Center.
And that's where it's located now?
That's where we have our meetings.
And when are the meetings?
The meetings are the third Wednesday of every month at 7 o'clock. At the Greenberg Health Center. And it's open to everyone. You don't have to be involved in transplant. You don't have to be a recipient. You could just be interested.
You just come and get the cookies?
You can come for the cookies, absolutely. But, if you have an interest, you want to learn, we have speakers that are doctors and professionals and recipients who sometimes come and tell their stories.
What was the woman that was here last Wednesday? Was it last Wednesday or 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago?
I'm trying to remember.
Last week, I
Last
think
week, right.
She was
from which
She was from the United Network of Organ Sharing.
That was so educational.
Yeah, and that's the national organization that kind of oversees transplantation.
I talked to her afterwards, and she said, in our lifetime, there probably will never be a whole country list. It's kind of disappointing.
Yeah. And, there's a lot of changes, that are being proposed, but
everything is slow.
Everything takes time because everybody has different opinions and, people have different interests and it gets complicated.
But I think the governor of New York State is very supportive of transplant and organ donation.
Yeah, he is supportive. But this year we're having a problem because in the budget proposal that he made, he did not allocate money for transplant and organ donation education.
Oh, for education.
So it's $600,000 that he was, which is nothing.
One bus.
Yes, it's nothing. It's nothing in the budget for the state, but we have not convinced him yet. So we're going next month. We're going up to Albany.
What date?
Don't remember. I want to say May 5th, maybe.
Yeah. You're actually going to meet with the governor.
We're all going up. Well, we're going to meet with the representatives, the state senators. If we can get in to see the governor, we will. But recipients and family members and anyone interested is welcome to go up to, it's called Legislative Day. So
And you said May 5th?
I think it's May 7th.
May 7th.
May 7th.
I may be able to drive, because I'm going to Boston, drive across.
You can do that, or there's a bus that's going to be picking people up at the Marriott in Tarrytown.
I know, but I'll be in Boston.
Well, then you drive down, yeah.
And then
But for other people, yeah.
I could drive across and meet you there.
Yeah.
But we'll see how
Yeah.
it works.
And the bus is free. So
Bus is free.
the bus is free.
And where does it leave from?
The
again?
Marriott, the Tarrytown Marriott on Route 119.
Do you have that information?
The bus.
I mean, do you
I
have?
just gave it to you.
We could. Okay. All right. Sorry. I'm a little unoriented too.
Oh,
I won't
okay.
mention anybody else's name in the crowd.
Okay.
So, what else can we talk about, Janet?
Well, the waiting list. You
Yeah.
want to know?
Yeah, tell us all the statistics,
this
all the
morning-
juicy stuff.
Not all the statistics, but because I would bore everybody to death. But I did look this morning at the numbers. And because I'm an UNOS ambassador, I'm able to get, like the latest numbers
Wait a second. You're an ambassador?
for UNOS.
Does that mean you could like get diplomatic plates and get away with murder?
No.
Oh, okay. Just checking.
It just means I'm a nosy body. I did get the numbers, and I found out that there are now 124,810 people waiting for an organ transplant in the United States.
How many?
124,810 people waiting.
And 10. Wow.
Just waiting, and they're waiting for kidneys, livers, heart, lungs, yeah, different
Lungs
organs.
is really difficult to
yeah,
transport, especially.
yeah, yeah. The largest number is people waiting for kidneys. There's over 65,000. Well, over 65,000 that are active, but 102,000 people waiting for kidneys.
And the population of the United States is how many? Do you know?
A few
Okay.
billion.
A billion? No.
What
can't
is
be.
it? I am not sure.
Okay. I'm not either. I think it's 5 billion in the whole world.
But to put that number in perspective,
Yeah, that's what I was getting at.
124,000 people waiting, and they only do, not only, but it's a big number, but they do 36,500 plus transplants a year.
Yeah, there's many reasons why you wouldn't get one.
That's right. The population is 330 million in the
So
United
it's
States.
such a small percentage compared to how many people could actually give an organ, live organ.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's a million reasons why they can't. I'm saving it for my nephew, or I'm
It's
saving
against
it
my
for-
religion.
It's against my. Oh, that's. I love that one.
They're gonna kill me in the hospital so
Right.
that they can take my organs.
Right.
All like excuses, all like misconceptions that people have. Yeah.
Well, I think 4 people offered me a kidney.
Well, you were an exception.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
some people say I'm exceptional.
Yeah.
But
You're
that's
an
another
exception.
story too.
No one offered me a liver. Not that they were doing live liver. They do live liver transplants now. They do.
They didn't do them then?
No, not in 1998.
Really?
Yeah. So
Wow.
you had to wait for someone to be a donor.
A cadaver.
Yeah.
So kidney,
But
my sister, Celeste, my then wife, the social worker at adult daycare at Beth Abraham, and a nurse that worked at, not Beth Abraham, Jewish home, and a nurse that worked at St. Barnabas. They all came forward and said,
they would donate.
they all got tested.
Wow.
And my sister was almost an exact match. And we fight like cats and dogs.
Yeah. And living donation is it's happening more now, but you're a rare example of it. There are people waiting years. The average wait for a kidney transplant 7 years in the United States.
I can't imagine.
Yeah.
I refuse dialysis.
Yeah.
We work with dialysis
Yeah.
patients.
Yeah, we
Oh.
did.
And then later on in my career, I could tell you some horror stories.
Yeah, no, I know. It's very difficult. And then, from that waiting list of 124,000 people, last year, 5,250 people died just waiting.
Oh my God. So my son, is like that. He thinks he's done. I would thought I was done.
But he's
too.
on dialysis. You know, a lot of these people that die are people with very advanced diseases, very frail, or they are liver or heart. You know, they're waiting for livers and hearts where there is no dialysis.
Right.
You know, for those conditions.
Someday maybe.
Maybe.
You never know.
Yeah.
They told me.
With heart, it's new technology.
Yeah. They keep saying, "Oh, when you get to that age, it'll be nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You can carry it around in your pocket."
Yeah.
It didn't happen.
Yeah.
So, let's see.
I look forward to, you know, the day. I don't know if it'll happen in the United States where people, you know, opt out of becoming a donor, where you automatically are assumed to be an organ donor unless you sign something that says you refuse.
That would be wonderful.
And it's happening in Europe to a great extent. So I'm hoping that someday, you know.
Well, in Europe they use
here.
the Air Force to transport organs. Here they use commercial. So anyway, we're going to start wrapping it up now.
Okay.
And I have a small gift for you.
Oh, thank you. Oh. Thank you.
You have to open it.
I have to open it?
Yeah.
Do I have to take out the banana? A pencil?
You have to take out somebody's banana.
We'll leave the banana in there. It's a little green. It needs to.
It needs to ripen.
ripen.
Well, that's why you got a bag to make it ripen.
Oh, okay.
It's a piece of sky
Oh.
on the other side. So you always have a piece of blue sky with you.
Well, thank you. Thank
And
you.
I think one of the songs we used to sing when we were kids is "Give Peace a Chance."
Yeah.
And I think we sang it many times at work together.
We did.
Even though we were like throwing rocks at each other, we still sang that song.
Yes.
And it was wonderful having you, Janet.
Thank you. Thank
I
you.
love you so much.
I love you too.
I'm going to give you a big
Do you want to
kiss.
let people know how they can reach us?
Yes.
The Transplant Support Organization, the best way to reach us is through our email, and it's email4tso@gmail.com. And you can look us up on our website, www.transplantsupport.org.
And we have a picnic a couple times a year,
We have a picnic on the 14th of September, and it's free, and it's open if people want to come.
It's wonderful. I've
Yeah.
had many good times.
It's we call it our Celebration of Life picnic.
And we'll post that on at the end of the show also.
Good. Okay.
And this is Tony Ziegler and Janet Ocasio saying thank you, studio audience, and thank you to the greater world for hearing our message. And I want to say one thing in closing. Don't forget, you are creative. You, right here, are creative. Thank you, Janet.
Be an organ donor.
Be an organ donor. Save somebody's life.
Bye.
It's not just radio, it's Rockland World Radio. RocklandWorldRadio.com.